All right, so we're back on our next episode here of A Few Points from Perfect.
What are we going to talk about today, sir?
Well, we are going to talk about YouTube.
Oh, boy.
We're going to try to cover it as in-depth as we possibly can within
I feel like
reason.
we should have brought in at least somebody successful on YouTube or possibly an expert. Are we qualified for this?
I don't know if we are, but, we got microphones as always, and we're going to talk anyway.
Well, if nothing else, we'll let everybody know what not to do.
Yeah, so, we're for anybody who can't possibly see this, if this ever makes it to a podcasting service, then they'll know that we're sitting a little different now. We're across the table.
More of an interview style.
Yeah.
Huh?
So I've got a list of questions here and a list of talking points. I'm going to.
Well, I'm never short on answers. So
that is true. I'm going to read them and let you answer, and some of them I'll chime in on because I've got some points on some of them, but a lot of it we tend to agree on. So I guess we'll just jump right into it.
All right.
All right, so you're dirt perfect on YouTube.
This is correct.
I am Jason Works a lot on YouTube, and
Last I checked, you're correct on that as well.
I should be. You should fact check that. First question being here, why did you start a YouTube channel?
We've covered this a little bit in past episodes. That's a great question. I kind of got peer pressured into it, to be honest with you, in a good way. Going back to our last guest we had, Logger Wade, he's my neighbor. He's been doing it for a long time. I was in a transition period in my life and with business, and Wade encouraged me to do it, and the timing and the stars lined up to try it, and I thought, why not? Let's give it a go.
Now, would you say that you're an easily impressionable, easy to peer pressure type person?
No.
So this probably took a little bit of effort on
like 10 years
on Logger Wade's part.
Yeah.
So we should.
He's a pretty persistent guy.
That I will say that if there was ever a symbol of the impossible force, meaning or unstoppable force, meaning an immovable object, it's definitely the two of you. I wasn't peer pressured into it, but I thought it looked fun.
In my defense, though, if I would have started a YouTube channel whenever Wade wanted me to 5, 7, 10 years ago, it would have been a completely different path. It would not be the YouTube channel you see today. So
it would have been dirt mediocre?
It would have been Simon Harris construction and a lot of house building and
right.
A lot of management.
Probably not as happy.
I would not be very near as upbeat, cheerful. Myself
was the reindeer hat still?
The reindeer hat was still in game.
So it would have made
it would have made a thing. So it was just a totally different place in my life. So I'm glad I didn't do it then. I'm glad I did it when I did it.
Right.
But that's to answer your question, sir. The reason why is Wade been doing it for a while. He had some success. I seen some benefits of it. I was ready for a new challenge in life, and I thought, what the heck, let's try it.
Oh, okay. I was really just looking to try something new, get a new hobby, try and do something. I've covered it in the past. I was more or less reinventing my life and looking at other hobbies, and yeah, it might not have done all that great, but hey, I'm working on it. So I guess that kind of gets us to our next talking point is what did you hope to get out of your YouTube channel when you were in the stages of still making it?
That's a great question. And what did I hope to get out of it? I don't know if I had any expectations. And I think that's probably an important point to make is I didn't expect to make a whole bunch of money. I didn't expect to be famous. I didn't expect to have sponsorships. I didn't expect to do any of that. I had a few goals, though. I had a few things I wanted to do.
Okay.
The main thing and to this day it still stands true, I'm not going to do it if I don't enjoy it. I deemed YouTube to be a hobby, and I'm going to keep it that way. I'm never going to turn YouTube into a job.
Okay.
So that was probably my first ground rule. I kind of set a goal of, 12 months down the road, I'd like to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. For people in the YouTube world that don't know, that's what it takes to get monetized.
Right, and we'll get into that.
So after 12 years of doing YouTube, or 12 months of doing YouTube, I was hoping to at least be eligible for monetization.
Mm-hmm.
But I went into it very open-minded. I hadn't, everybody's YouTube's experience is a little bit different. Wade kind of just goes at it like wide open, just is what it is, throw it up there. I'm a little bit more structured than he is, so our channels, the way we approach YouTube's considerably different. So I don't know how much crossover there or comparison there was from what Wade does, but Yeah, I didn't have any expectations. I just had a few goals in mind and decided to go for it.
And that was pretty much the same for me. I didn't necessarily care to make money at it. I've always enjoyed technology, I guess, to an extent.
That's where we differ greatly.
Yeah. I like the cameras. I like different angles of filming and stuff like that. Though
Despise it.
I truly don't do it much.
Despise it.
Yeah, and I learned real quickly that you just to keep it simple, stupid. You know.
Yeah.
We'll definitely.
Who would you say possibly taught you that?
I don't know, but it was the perfect advice. I'll say that. So yeah, you know, I think the important takeaway from that is neither one of us really expected anything out of it.
No, not at all. I never expected to make a dime. I never expected to get my first sponsorship. I never expected to meet my first fan. Whenever I started YouTube, that stuff never even crossed my mind.
Right. Now you did mention time management, say, in comparison and contrasting you and Lager Wade. Can you get into that a little bit more? What do you consider time management that's important?
Well, there's it don't matter who you are or what you are in life. We all got 24 hours in a day to accomplish what we can.
Except for me, I have 26.
Well, you need to let me know your secret there.
I can't do that.
And we all got to sleep at some point. And one of the reasons why I had a transition in my life is I was pulling out of some other businesses to spend more time with my family. But I got to keep busy. I got to be doing something. So that's where I come up with the hobby of YouTube being a good time to do it. So there was, I know of other YouTubers that spend hours and hours and hours editing videos, spend hours filming videos, and I couldn't do this. I didn't have that time to give to it, but I still wanted to put a good product out.
Right.
So I had to find a way to make my hobby fit into my life, is I guess where I go with time management. And as you get going on YouTube, you learn real quickly there's a lot of tricks you can learn filming that really help you editing. One thing that a lot of people are always just astounded to find out is I don't edit on the computer. I edit on my phone.
Right. Which you eventually transitioned into an iPad.
I did eventually transition to the iPad, but I still edit on my phone.
To this day.
To this day.
Okay.
And the reason why is let's just say I'm pulling into the quarry to get a load of rock and I'm 15th in line. Well, I pull my phone out of my pocket and edit 15 minutes of a video.
Right.
Say I take my daughter to the eye doctor appointment. I'm sitting in the waiting room. I can sit there and edit on a video. Say I go out to eat for lunch and I'm by myself and it takes me 20 minutes to get my food. Well, I can sit there and edit a video. So that's one of the main reasons. And it's easier for me. I'm not a technology person. I have edited a few videos on the computer. That is really in depth and a lot more options, a lot more everything. And I still feel like I can do a better job editing it on my phone, and I can do it at my own leisure when I got time to do it.
Right.
So first off, you film in a manner to where it's easy to edit, and that you just have to figure out how to do that.
And that can vary person to person depending on what they want to make.
And it also can vary on what you're filming.
That's true too. Yeah.
You know, I have, if you guys are familiar with my videos, I may have 15 different shots of a loader loading dirt in a dump truck.
Right.
Spoiler alert, they were all shot with one camera.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, just moved around.
Because that's the most time consuming part of editing is if you run multiple cameras.
Right.
Because you got to go find the timestamp on 3 different SD cards.
And then edit each one accordingly.
And edit each one accordingly. Where if you can just move that camera 3 or 4 times.
Right.
They're all right there in order. You just go boom, 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 boom.
Right.
And nobody, I mean, like dumping dirt into a dump truck, if you get one shot of scooping it up, one shot of going to the truck, and one shot of dumping it in the truck, it may be 3 different scoops of dirt, but nobody's got.
I feel like that's a trade secret. You're not supposed to.
I'm not supposed to share.
That might
it's
be.
Not like there's a big sign in the bucket that says scoop number 1, you know, scoop number 2. And,
I can tell you a little embarrassing story about one of the first few videos that I ever filmed. I did that. I did a scoop of dirt, and I got out, and I moved the camera, and then I filmed me going over to where I was going to dump it, and then I got out, and I moved the camera, and I filmed me dumping that same scoop. So I would like to think that my videos are more authentic than yours.
Yeah, but how much time did you waste? I don't waste that much time. It's time management. That's the point of the conversation.
Well, I never said I was good at this.
But just to give you a quick little rundown of what my routine is now, is I try to do everything I can to film with one camera. There are still certain videos where I'll either have a drone or a second camera involved, depending on what's going on.
Now, do you consider the drone
a camera?
A camera.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It records and puts video in my editor. It's a damn camera.
Okay.
It may be a flying camera, but it's a camera.
It's a fancy camera.
And it's the most annoying camera I got because it has no audio.
Right.
So you cannot use the raw footage out of it. You either have to put music with it, you have to put a voiceover with it, or you have to lay it over with another camera sitting on the ground.
Right.
So it's
which takes more time.
Which takes more time. So it's my least favorite camera to use, and it is a camera. So anyways, I'll film throughout the day. Whenever I come home in the evenings, I will put my SD card. I will download everything onto my iPad. iPad's primarily what I edit with today. I still do some stuff on my phone just because of time constraints. So when I'm at home playing with the kids, working in the shop, doing whatever, everything's downloaded to my iPad, taking a shower, whatever I'm doing. At the end of the night, Jen and the kids have about an hour-long bedtime routine. I will lay there in bed and I will edit for an hour. I can usually get a video edited in 35 to 40 minutes, depending on what it is. So I'll get a video to video and half edited. Jenna comes to bed. I will let that video upload on YouTube, and it'll be unlisted. If you guys don't know how YouTube works, whenever you upload a video, you can do private, unlisted, or public.
Right.
So unlisted means you cannot view that video unless I send you a link to it.
Correct.
So I got probably 30 videos on YouTube that are unlisted.
Is that a trade secret that you're letting out too?
We will get to that in a little bit about
the pros and cons.
The pros and cons of that. Okay. So whenever I get all these videos up on YouTube, I will do this throughout the week, Monday through Saturday, most likely.
Right.
Sunday, I do my best to stay at home and not schedule work if at all possible. And at that point, this is where I sit down at my computer and I have all these unlisted videos that I edited all week, right? So at that point, I'll go in, I'll put a title on it, I'll put a description in it, I will do the tags, I will do the thumbnail, I will monetize it, and then once I have all these things done, I will schedule it.
And then for people who have never done this before, you actually have to go in and do most of these steps to be able to publish a video.
You can just publish a raw video, but you're not going to get much out of it if you don't have a good title, the proper description, a good thumbnail.
So titling a video November 3rd is just not going to do well for you.
No.
Right. So you have to give a somewhat descriptive title about what you're doing.
Yep.
Then you actually have to go down and write the description that not many people even see probably.
But it helps you in the search engines.
So there's an importance to it.
There's an importance to it. And that's also where you can put your links to your social media or Facebook page or your anything. If you're selling a product, you can put a link in there to that.
Okay.
And then tags are just basically they're just like 1 or 2 word tags of random stuff. If there's an excavator in it, you put excavator digging or excavator video, or
it basically helps YouTube understand where it should go.
Yeah, it helps YouTube categorize it is the way I understand it.
And that's a very important step that not a lot of people do.
Correct.
Okay.
And then you can put it into a playlist. I keep mine pretty simple. I think I got 4 playlists. It's like shop videos, my thoughts on the job, and lives. I don't get really in depth with playlists. I keep it pretty simple. But it does help you. Trucking, I got trucking on there, but it does help you. You know, if somebody finds my channel and they just like the shop videos, well, they can at least go find a list of shop videos.
Right. So it helps potentially get people in and makes it easier for them and more inclined for them to stick around, maybe subscribe. Then
you need to monetize it. I mean, I don't like making ads myself, but it's a hobby and I do got to justify my time.
Right.
So monetization, and what a lot of people don't realize is that, occasionally you get the comment, you've got too many ads in there. I probably, whenever I monetize it, YouTube gives you the option to put ads in or take ads out.
Right.
I probably take 50% of the ads out they put in.
And I think it's important to mention this now too. We're recording this at the end of October of 2020, and I think 4 or 5 months ago is when they really changed that.
Yeah.
Captain Kleeman did a video, which actually watching Captain Kleeman's video on how to make a YouTube video or whatever is where I even realized about this, that YouTube all of a sudden is putting a lot of ads in on these videos. And if you as a content creator didn't know that, well, if you don't go back and watch your video, you may never
know.
Right. That there might be, 10 to 12 ads is actually fairly common.
Oh yeah, I've had some videos, like some of my videos are 40 or 50 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have 20 ads in them.
Right. Now, do you have a rule of thumb for how many ads?
I try to keep an ad about every 10 minutes.
Okay, so one ad per 10 minutes.
One
That's
ad per
actually
10
what
minutes.
I do too.
It's somewhere, I mean, that's give or take a little bit. You may have 2 ads in the first 15 minutes and then I have one till 30 minutes, but
Right.
depending on how YouTube decides it's a good spot in your video.
And this just popped into my head. As a content creator, do you get a say in what ads are aired on your video?
No. So YouTube, that's a good point, because every once in a while you'll get like I had a guy the other day said, I'm unsubscribing to your channel because a porn ad just popped up, or whatever your political stance is.
Yeah.
I'm unsubscribing to your channel because a Trump ad popped up or a Biden ad popped up.
Right.
And we have absolutely zero control over what ad is aired on our videos.
Right.
That ad is based on your watch history.
Yes.
So
most people don't realize that.
most people don't realize that. So maybe you weren't watching something you shouldn't have been watching from your device, but somebody else was.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you've searched it on Google.
Or you've searched it on
Facebook
Google or Facebook or something like that.
You've talked about it a lot.
So the ad has nothing to do with the content creator. It has everything to do with the viewer.
Right.
So that comment really just cracks me up, because I'm like, you're telling on yourself, people. You're telling on yourself.
Exactly. We have absolutely no control over what your ads are going to look like.
So to finish out time management real quick. So now it's Sunday. I'm going in and I'm doing everything to my video. Once it's ready to be public, I schedule it.
Right.
So YouTube gives you the option to say what day it will go public.
Okay, and they give you the option of what time too.
And what time. So this is, a lot of people follow me on YouTube know that my videos are a month and a half to 2 months behind.
Right.
That's by design. It's not by accident. That's by design. The reason that's why it's by design is I may go a week without filming. I may go 2 weeks without sitting at my computer.
Mm-hmm.
My schedule, my life is crazy. I'm not going to act like it's not. But guess what? You guys get a good quality video every other day, no matter what.
Right.
And I'm never stressing out to film something. I'm never stressing out to edit anything. I'm never hurrying back to my computer to monetize something. I'm just letting it do its thing.
Right. So you've basically figured out a way to make your channel almost autonomous.
Yeah, I mean,
Once you do the work of getting it onto the channel runs itself essentially.
We're sitting here October 24th filming this. I can tell you what video is going to air December 8th.
Right. Because you're scheduled out.
I'm scheduled out.
Okay. I'm getting to that point.
Okay.
Basically, when I started making YouTube videos, I would film and I would run home and I would try to edit it and
get it up as fast as you can.
Yeah, and catching up to where we're at now in this conversation, I started out editing on a computer. I used Adobe Premiere Elements,
yep.
which we'll get into that in some of the camera equipment more or less about the costs and everything. But basically, I would sit down at the computer, relatively simple video, maybe 2 camera angles, maybe 20-minute video. Probably took me 4 hours to edit in the beginning.
And I'm over here laughing at you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know why you're laughing at me too, and I don't do that much anymore. And that really,
I think we should point out that you're the tech savvy guy.
Yeah.
And I'm the last thing from that.
Right. And there's something to be said about my choice for Adobe falling into that category. And there are a lot of people who edit their videos on Adobe, and they do very well.
I've edited some videos on Adobe.
Yeah.
I'm not going to downplay Adobe's a nice program, but it's more time consuming to do it.
Right. So for what maybe you and I are trying to put out onto YouTube, it's hardly justifiable. And I mean, I was seeing maybe $100 a month come in from YouTube at this point in time, and now I'm spending 4 hours of video and averaging 2 videos a week. I mean, that adds up to a point where that's taking X amount of hours away from me, where I could be spending with my wife or
your hobbies become a job.
Right.
That you're not getting paid for.
It's and it's a bass backwards here.
Yeah.
So
and I knew going into it I couldn't commit that to it, so I had to find another way to make it work, or it would not work.
Right.
I was going to fail before I ever started.
And you were the one that actually introduced me to the KindMaster editing program on the Apple devices to get that going. So I guess we can get into the equipment more of it now. What camera equipment are you using? Have you tried? Do you recommend?
So starting off from the beginning, I guess we should point out starting a YouTube channel is basically free.
Yes.
All you got to have is an email address,
Which is also free.
which is also free. So to technically start a channel, 100% free, don't cost you anything.
Right. And you can now run a YouTube channel entirely from your phone.
Yep.
Except for monetizing the videos?
You can monetize it from your phone. You cannot put, there's a couple things you can't do. You can't change ad placement.
Okay.
You can't put end screens in.
And the end screen is that thing that plays kind of at the end. It might recommend a video to somebody. Right. It lets them click on your name to subscribe.
There's a handful of things that you can't do, but you can do it solely from your phone. John, the chipper guy, the chipper guy.
Yeah.
He operates 100% of his phone. He don't even have a desktop.
Okay.
I didn't have a desktop for the first 6 months.
Right.
I did it.
Yep.
So it's free to do it. The first probably 30 videos I filmed, 100% with my iPhone. Mm-hmm. 100% with my iPhone. I already had my iPhone, didn't have no investment. I was doing like what you were talking about. I was doing everything I could from my iPhone. So, as long as you got a phone and you got an email address, it don't cost you nothing to put the first video up.
And I think it's worth noting too that pretty much any iPhone after, say, the 7, the video quality of the phone is right on par with most of the other things that we're about to talk about. Audio, maybe not so much.
I'll disagree with that a little bit because GoPro's come so far with their hyper smooth technology.
Yeah, that's true. I guess as far as the stabilization and everything. But if you're a person who's maybe putting a video on a tripod.
Yeah. I mean, there's ways to film with your iPhone to get the same quality as a GoPro, for example. But you're going to need some accessories to go with it.
Right. That's a fair way to say that,
is the best way to put it. So I ventured into I talked to you quite a bit about some camera equipment. I was going to go down the DJI path.
Right.
You had the Osmos.
Yeah.
I actually filmed a video on your channel with that.
Yeah.
And quickly knew that's not what I wanted.
Yeah. It's a neat little device.
It's also
a neat little pain in the butt.
Neat little pain in the butt. So I ended up going the GoPro route.
Right.
And I'm not sponsored by GoPro. I don't have any ties to GoPro. I don't think GoPro's the best camera out there, but for what I do, it's the best camera for the job. It's very simple. It's very user-friendly. It's very rugged. It does a good job for what it is.
And is it fair to say that it's readily available too?
Yes.
You can pretty much go anywhere, at least in the United States, find a Walmart or a Best Buy or something that's open at any given time that sells a GoPro camera.
And the accessories are almost unlimited.
Right, and there's a huge aftermarket for accessories.
So and if you do have problems with them, there's a lot of forums and stuff. There's tech support to go with them. So I started off with the GoPro 7s. They were my first, and to this.
And you had the white.
I had a white. I did not like the white because it didn't have a removable battery.
That's correct.
And it did not have a removable lens.
Right. And for people who are not familiar with GoPro, there's the traditional GoPro, then there's the white model, which is their mid-grade.
Well, there's the white, silver, and black.
Oh, they have silver now.
There's white, silver, and black. Silver's the in-between one.
Okay, so the white would be the beginner, the lowest level GoPro, then the silver is the second tier, and then the black is the best quality GoPro you can get.
Right. So actually my very first GoPro was a Hero 3.
Okay, that's right, yeah.
I used it in conjunction with my phone a little bit. They had the old waterproof case.
Yeah, so it had basically no audio whatsoever.
The audio was horrific, but I could use it for a time-lapse shot or a second-off shot, and I kind of got my feet wet with the GoPro. Then I bought a GoPro White. Didn't do my research, didn't realize it didn't have a removable battery.
Right.
That wasn't going to work, so then I got a GoPro 7.
So would you consider the GoPro White purchase strictly on price?
Yes.
Okay, so it's worth noting that it might, your results may vary, but it might be worth spending a little bit extra to at least get that removable battery.
Yep. So I gifted my GoPro White to Captain Kleeman.
Right.
He built his entire channel around it.
Right.
He did. Up until about 3 or 4 months ago, that's all he used to film was the GoPro White I gave him. He got an external battery. He found a way to make it work. You can do good stuff with it. It is a good camera. It takes good video.
Absolutely.
Not horrible audio. So then I went to a GoPro 7, and to this day, my GoPro 7, to be honest with you, is still my favorite camera.
And for those watching this on our YouTube podcast channel, this is actually being filmed on my GoPro 7.
Yes. And it's still working, so that's good.
Okay.
they're a little glitchy, folks.
Yeah, they can be. That's something worth noting, actually, is that GoPros can be a little hit or miss.
They can be very aggravating. So the GoPro 7 is still my favorite camera. It don't have little tabs on the bottom. The camera flops in and out of the holder case. It's easy to get in and out of. It's easy to change batteries. The video on it is excellent for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The audio is good, but if you have any type of background noise, it's not.
I would call the audio on a Hero 7 personally subpar.
Yeah, it's if it's like if we were just audioing us right now with no background noise and we were the only two making noise,
right,
the audio would be excellent.
And another thing worth mentioning is that this podcast is not recorded.
That is
audio
that
is not
correct.
recorded on the GoPro.
So, like whenever I was in a machine running, I'd have a lot of complaints that people can't hear me, and they could hear me, but I agree it wasn't the best audio.
Right.
So at this point, I'm making a little bit of money on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
The hobby's being profitable, so I'm not against investing into it a little bit.
Right.
So I bought my first GoPro 8. GoPro 8. There's a few things about it I just hate. The actual camera itself, they took a step back in the audio world.
Yes.
The audio of just the camera is horrific.
And there may or may not have been a reason why they did that, I think.
That's to be determined or to be discussed.
Yeah.
They also do not have a removable lens on it,
Right.
which for a guy that's rough on his camera around welding and dropping it in the rocks and having it on equipment with trucks with stuff flying at it, and I don't know how many times I've buried my camera.
Right.
That gets expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So
The Hero 7 and now the Hero 9,
have a removable lens.
it's basically a polycarbonate cover over the lens
Right.
itself
So
that
if you
protects
scratch it or tear it up, you just twist it off, put a new one on there, like $6.
Right.
And you
the
go
8
on
did
again.
not have that.
But one thing the 8 does have is a media mod.
Right.
And
It's their microphone mod.
it's a microphone mod. And I know we're doing a podcast here. I've modified mine some to make it work with what I do. But it is not as good as a lapel mic or a boom mic or a high dollar mic, but it is a quick and easy good mic. I went from having all kinds of audio complaints to 7 million views and maybe 2 audio complaints.
Right. So it's basically what it is it's an external case that the GoPro
the
Hero
GoPro
8
slides
into. And it's got 3 microphones on it.
Yes, and it's worth noting that it's a stereo mic.
Yes, so it can record left and right
Left and right.
instead of
So
mono.
that's at this point in life with the GoPro 8 and the microphone mod. If that camera just had a removable lens, I'd be good with it.
You'd be buying them
I'd be buying them.
exclusively.
Right.
Is the word, yeah.
Because keep in mind, guys, again, YouTube's a hobby. I excavate for a living. I'm not going to have a wire running up my shirt, a microphone clipped to my thing, and you got to keep in mind in a 10-hour day, I may only film an hour.
Right.
That's just not going to happen. YouTube's a hobby, not my job. So at some point, not to be rude, but you got to be happy you got what you got.
Yes, and
So the GoPro 8 was the happy medium to upgrade audio without being a big nuisance on my behalf.
right now we kind of figured out together this setup here for people watching can see it. This is the setup you use. This is the setup for the most part that
Yep.
I use, and we actually ended up finding a lot of this from Welker Farms.
Yeah, but it's just it's a magnet rubber grip handle, swivel top adapter, and then the thing goes on top so you can hold it and not have a whole lot of noise transfer through
Right.
the handle. And then if you want to stick it to something, you can pretty much get about any angle you want.
Right,
And, My big thing was I got to have something I can put in my pocket.
that's what I was getting at. Yeah, I remember when we were trying to piece this together. It's very important for you and for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people like us.
I'm not carrying a camera bag around.
Right,
I
you
can't-
need to be able to take this out of your pocket, hit a button, get the shot you need to get without interrupting your actual day.
Right.
And it's gotta work.
It's got to work. I usually carry 2 or 3 extra GoPro batteries in my pocket. 9 times out of 10, whenever I leave the shop in the morning, I have my camera on my stick, 3 extra batteries in my pocket. We're off to the races.
Right, and I think the only noteworthy thing is the difference between my setup and yours is instead of this comfort handle, which I had,
Right.
mine's a battery.
You're right.
And I have a wire going up that plugs into the side of my camera, And I'm still not convinced that it's better than this with multiple batteries. But for me personally, because I hardly film at all now because I don't have time, it's easier to just grab it, and I know the stick's charged.
Charge and just go.
Yeah, and I'm fine with it.
So I have, at this point in life, I have upgraded to a GoPro 9. I've used it for one video. I have the microphone mod or the media mod for it as well.
Which is actually right there.
Yeah, for you guys watching, it's actually sitting right here on the table. Here's the problem with the GoPro 9 and the media mod. The front-facing microphone is so good that it makes the back-facing microphone
Makes a great phone stand.
makes the back-facing microphone horrible.
Right.
The audio balance between front and back is noticeably bad, and the GoPro 8 one does such a good job. There's a lot of reviews online that the GoPro 8 media mod's crap. I don't know what they're using it for. There's a good chance it is crap for what they're doing.
Right.
But for what I'm doing, it's awesome.
And the only real noteworthy thing to add to with your media mod is that you epoxy a GoPro mount onto the bottom of it.
Yes, which now my media mod is now my case the old GoPro 7s have, so I don't have to twist a thumb screw out to slide my camera in and out.
Right.
I just plug and go again.
Yes, and that allows you to put this adapter on to go to a 1/4-20 tripod mount.
Yep.
So that you can screw the handle on. Mine GoPro 7 has an aluminum housing that the camera slides into with the screw on the bottom.
So, I don't know. I'm sure I'll figure out the GoPro 9. The GoPro 9 basic camera does have a lot better microphone than the GoPro 8.
Right.
But it's not as good as a GoPro 8 with a media mod.
So for somebody who's just looking for something to, just get started with, they don't want to start on their phone for whatever reason. They're determined to have a camera. They're going to go GoPro. Which 7, 8, or 9?
7.
7.
Yep.
So, because of its all around just.
Yeah, for the price, you can't get a better camera.
Right.
I still to this day use my GoPro 7s for a lot of shots.
Right.
I got 2 of them, and they're kind of my go-to. My GoPro 8's the one I say I have a camera on a stick and leave, but
Yeah.
if I'm going to do something stupid, or if I want a time-lapse shot or something like that,
Right.
I love my GoPro 7s.
Because you'll usually have, 2 cameras on you?
It depends on what I'm doing that day. But,
Right.
If I got 2 GoPro 8s and I got a GoPro 9, and if I need a second camera, I grab my 7.
Right.
I don't grab my other 8, and I don't grab my 9. I grab my 7.
Okay. So you generally just roll around with one camera
Yeah.
on. Okay.
Yeah. I guess one other thing worth hitting on is my drone. I get a lot of questions about my drone.
Right.
Had some Russian guy gift it to me.
I've heard the story.
DJI Mavic Air.
Right.
It has been an awesome drone.
Can we real quick hit on how many flight hours you have?
Like over 300.
Okay. And how many miles is that?
It's did I get that wrong? I figured it out one day. It's in feet. It's in so many feet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's like 35,000 feet.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
For an average person, it's a couple years probably worth of flying.
Yeah, and I fly it pretty regular. I don't get too carried away with it. By no means do you have to have a drone to start a YouTube channel.
Don't get ahead of me now.
Oh, sorry. But I love everything about my drone. If I had one complaint about it, it's the flight time.
Which is actually supposedly corrected on the newer
updated
Mavic Air,
one.
because that drone is now two years old. I think
I've had it for 2 years.
Yeah, and it was out before that
Yeah.
Russian guy purchased it, I'm sure.
Yeah. So that and the newer drones address that, but I would highly, I don't like DJI cameras.
Right.
Their drones are top notch. Their flight systems and the usability of them.
Yes.
Highly recommend.
For just about anybody can actually go out, and this is not a commercial for DJI, but they can go out and buy that drone.
Yeah, we're not sponsored by DJI or GoPro. I like GoPro cameras. I like DJI drones.
And if they're listening and they want to change that, but I think it's worth noting that if you're looking at entry equipment, the DJI drone is by far worth the investment.
Captain Kleeman had the DJI Mini, which is like a $450 or $500 drone.
Right.
It didn't have some of the features my drone had on it, but it had twice the flight time and did a lot of the same. It had the same camera on it.
And I think the most important part about that features that it had is that it's easy to fly. It does a lot of its own stabilization.
Yep.
It'll hover by itself.
Yep.
The things that people don't need to be concerned about learning how to do with a, let's call it what it is, $1,000 toy.
Yeah.
It has built into it.
Yep.
You know,
It's nothing like a hobby drone. It's a whole different level.
right?
But I think that pretty much covers the. I mean, Captain Kleeman uses tripods and stuff like that. I don't. If it don't fit in my pocket, it's probably not going with me.
I do have tripods and stuff, but I do a lot of different videos.
Yeah,
I don't have a niche on my channel, which may or may not be an issue, but I do have tripods, and I don't go out and buy really expensive tripods. I go to Best Buy, and whatever's the cheapest on the shelf is what I grab, and it works just fine for me. Which brings me to my next point that you started to get into a little bit. How important is camera gear? Is it important to have the latest and greatest, the best, top of the line, or is it just important to have something to go out and film a video with? And I feel like I loaded this question, but I already know your answer. So.
Yeah, that's there's some big channels out there.
Yeah.
That film with the Canon little handheld camera.
Right.
And it is quite obvious if you know anything about cameras and what quality each camera will do. I'm like, oh, what are you doing?
Yes.
It's like, what are you doing? That's one thing that I love about the GoPros is the hyper smooth.
Yes.
It is incredible what it'll do. And one thing a GoPro will do extremely well is focus.
Yes. By itself.
By itself.
Yes.
So if you got a lot of movement, or I put a GoPro on my go-kart one day, and it was shaking so bad the one LED light looked like 15. I mean, it was just, I'm like, this video is useless.
You had your lightsaber there.
Yeah. This video is useless. I just finished the race and I'm like, this video is useless. I watched this thing. It is just smooth as, I mean, you couldn't even, it's incredible.
Right.
That's why I'm sold on GoPro is the ability to focus and the ability to have the hyper smooth, and it's all built into the camera.
To basically get the shot that you want without having to spend any more time than you need to.
Any more time or effort into it.
Yes.
Just stick her up there. I don't care if she's vibrating. I don't care if she's doing this. I don't care if she's doing that. Now, one thing the GoPros are absolutely horrible about is low light. They absolutely suck trying to film anything in low light.
Right, and they have come out with their light mods. I don't know if you've used one yet.
I do have a light mod. Jenna
you?
got me one. I never remember to take it with me because
Right.
I never know I'm going to need it until it's too late. But
Right.
So anyways, as far as camera gear goes, starting off, just do whatever you got to get started.
Right.
You don't need $1,000 worth of camera equipment. You can go get a GoPro 7 now for what, $250, $300?
And there's always a used market.
And there's always a used market. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you need. DJI Osmos, they're what, $199 or something?
I don't even remember, but it's something around there.
You know, that's another good camera to start off. I don't like the Canons. They have no stabilization. They don't do a very good job at focusing. The audio on them without some sort of external microphone is horrible. I know a lot of people use them. A lot of people like them. They're awkward to hold.
There's something to be said about that, which when I'm going to voice my opinion, I'll cover that too. But is this my turn now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying hard to be quiet. I'm not good at it.
That's okay. You're fine. I don't care. So the Canons, you're referring to a DSLR Canon.
Okay.
Which is like
does
mine.
that use black powder or?
Yes.
Oh, not a can. Oh, got it.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. You're talking about a DSLR camera, which is like you can change the lenses on them. They're huge, and I've done that. I have a Canon T6i DSLR that I did a lot of filming with. Actually, one of the largest videos on my channel is going to Paul Bunyan and shoving that camera in Lagerwaite's face. And my arm was tired from carrying it around. It just wasn't convenient.
Could you fit it in your pocket?
I could not, actually. As a matter of fact, I had to carry that thing around all day.
Problem, don't you?
What was that?
You need bigger pockets.
That's right. And to get bigger pockets, you generally need to weigh them down with more money so they grow. And that wasn't working. Now, I will note that I bought almost all of my camera equipment used. My wife found it on Facebook Marketplace, and we went and bought it, and I paid pennies for what it's worth. So I have the Canon DSLR, and there is the little Canons.
Yep.
The point and shoot Canons, that's what they're called. Those ones, I would say you can get them with stabilization. They're never going to be as durable as a GoPro, and they're also 3 times as expensive as a GoPro. So you need to ask yourself, is it worth breaking?
And a GoPro will do a lot. I mean, it'll time lapse. It'll do slow motion. It'll do pictures.
Yeah. And it also it doesn't have to be dedicated to YouTube.
And you can link it to your phone. You can live stream.
Shove it underwater.
Yep.
You know, well that's the Hero 9 now has that live stream capability.
Yeah. No, and again, I'm not here to say GoPro is the best camera on the market, but I think it is for the money.
Yeah, and for the people who are making videos potentially like us, where the camera is going to be, I'm not going to say in harm's way.
Mine is every day.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I've got a whole stack of Runt cameras up there.
Yeah, I guess that is a good way to put it. When you're putting a camera in harm's way, you're not going to do that with I don't even care if it's a point and shoot Canon. And you're right, there are people out there who do that with a DSLR, and I think I know who you're referring to, and it's just, my question to that is it worth it?
Right.
If you move a little bit too far, or you get confused, or you're on your phone rings and you're talking to Jenna because Gunner fell down and hurt himself or something like that, and you just ran the bucket over that $1,500 DSLR.
Well, the last GoPro I rent, I pulled the skid steer out of the shop.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh man, I need to check oil in it real quick. So I jumped out, checked oil. Oh no, it needs oil. So I stuck my camera up on top, filled it up with oil in a hurry, dropped back in the skid steer and took off. Guess what? Camera fell off, hit the tracks, run over.
Yep. And that happens. That's not an uncommon thing.
No, I mean, I think in the 2 years I've been doing YouTube, I've probably destroyed 3 GoPros. It's not like it happens on a daily basis, but
right.
I'm okay with it. I take responsibility for it, and fortunately for me, the YouTube channel pays good enough to justify that, but that may not be the case for everybody.
I can say mine does not.
Right.
I have no problem saying that because we've already talked about that. I've gotten a lot out of YouTube aside from monetary gains. But for somebody who's going to be probably in my boat for at least a year, I would say is a fair guess, it's not worth it.
You can have a high quality video on YouTube and spend less than $500.
Yes, and your channel is a testament to that.
Yeah.
You've done that for
a long
time. So basically, let's kind of change the tone of this to the geared towards.
One thing we can point out is that sometimes it's not about the camera; it's about what you film.
Oh, well then, you can't upload that on YouTube. Oh, never mind. I know what you're talking about now. Okay, never mind.
Just had to get a jab in there.
Yeah, my mind went straight to the gutter.
Yeah, I wasn't going that way at all.
So if we can shift this towards the person who may be interested in starting a YouTube channel and somehow stumbled upon this. I have some notes written down here about, I don't exactly know how to word this question, but it's free to do.
Yep.
When is the best time to start a YouTube channel?
5 minutes from now.
Yesterday.
Tomorrow? I mean, I think if you're going to start a YouTube channel, you got to have a little bit of a plan. Like what your channel is going to be about.
Right.
What's your first 10 videos going to cover? Like you got to have a direction.
Right.
And your direction can change as you go, as you see how it takes off. But if it's something you think you'd be good at, if it's something you're interested in, I encourage anybody to give it a try.
Right.
And the longer you wait, YouTube's constantly changing. Whenever Logger Way got into YouTube, you only had to have 10,000 views to be monetized. He was monetized, boom, no time.
Right.
Whenever I got into YouTube, you had to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours.
Right.
It took me 4 months to get that.
Same thing here.
I know a lot of people that have been doing YouTube for years and still haven't got to that threshold.
Right.
And the rumor on the street is they're going to go to 5K, 10K, 5,000 subscribers and 10,000 watch hours.
I haven't heard that one yet, but I wouldn't doubt it.
So whether it's a rumor, it's true or whatever, the longer you wait, I feel like the harder it's going to be to get started. Also, the way the world's going with streaming services is, we talked about this a little bit with Logger Wade, syndicated TV and reality TV and stuff like that's going away, and YouTube and stuff like what we're doing is becoming more and more popular. Well, the more popular it gets, the harder you're going to find to make your way through the crowd to the top.
Yes.
So with all that being said, if it's something you're interested in doing, go get your camera and film something. Do it right now.
Right now. We'll wait.
Well, let's finish the podcast, then go do it.
Okay, so do it in a little bit. Start thinking about what you want to do.
Well, you need to listen to the rest of this so you got some more good advice on what not to do, and then
That's
go
right.
do it.
You need a few more points from Perfect over here. Another thing that's worth noting is you shouldn't get discouraged. You should have a time frame in mind, and you have a really good viewpoint on this, so I'll let you take that.
Yeah, so the way YouTube is a mythical creature that really nobody knows how it behaves or works.
And it changes.
And it changes
a lot.
constantly. I mean, I've only been doing it for 2 years, and the changes I've seen in YouTube in 2 years is mind-boggling, to be honest with you. But if you're going to give YouTube a go, you have to do it consistently for 12 months.
And consistently could be
once a week.
once a week. Once every other week, I think, is getting a little bit too spaced
Yeah,
out.
I think you need to probably have at least a video a week. But my first month on YouTube, I think I had maybe 100 subscribers and maybe 1,000 views.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know if it's going anywhere, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it started picking up a little bit, and all of a sudden it started going, and I was committed, as you guys listened to in the first half of this, of doing it for a year to see where I was at.
Right.
I had a goal where I wanted to be at the end of a year, and I had no idea if I was going to make it or not, but it takes a while for YouTube to acknowledge you. It takes a while for people to find you.
Right. And YouTube also does kind of a weird thing where it needs to figure out where to put you.
Well, and that's where all them tags and all them descriptions come into play.
Right.
That helps YouTube put you in a category that they can match you with a viewer when it gets searched.
Right.
Or they can suggest you to a viewer when you get searched.
So basically, to put that in layman's terms, somebody, I mean, you do dirt work. So somebody who might be watching, say, Let's Dig 18. Everybody knows Let's Dig 18.
Yep.
And when they're watching that on their phone or on a computer, it's going to show you a video that's next.
Other similar videos.
Yes, that's what it's called, yeah. And what your goal is as an up-and-coming, you want to be in that slot.
Right.
And to know if you're doing really well, generally speaking, is if you're watching a Let's Dig 18 video and you look down and it says up next and it's a Dirt Perfect video.
Right.
So
Which then also means you did all your homework right on all that other stuff.
Right. So you have your tags in place, your description is set right, your title is good, and you have interaction on your channel, which we haven't covered that yet.
Yeah.
But that should be your goal as an up-and-comer, is to get into the next spot.
That's not going to happen in 6 months.
No.
That's going to take a little while. You got to do it long enough. I mean, the best way I know is to say is you got to prove yourself to YouTube that, hey, I'm here, I'm for real, and I'm going to be around for a while, so you better acknowledge me.
Yes, because at the end of the day, and I don't have this written down, but this is a good point, I think, is that YouTube is a business.
Yep.
And YouTube is a business that's in the business of advertising. They make money based on advertisements.
They sell advertisement on views, and if you're not providing views, you're like a cow not providing milk. You're going to be kicked off the farm.
Yeah, and you'll still be allowed to make your videos. They won't remove your channel or anything like that, but you're not going to have any monetary.
You're not going to be promoted.
Yes, because YouTube looks at it as there's hundreds of millions of channels on there that have server space, and they're all competing. And if YouTube is going to put an ad on every single video, well, it's not worth them.
Well, you also got to look from an advertiser's standpoint. Do you want to be presented on a video that's got 100,000 views or one that's got 10 views?
Right, and do you want to pay to be presented on there?
Right.
So it's something worth noting that you have to do your homework and you have to be consistent.
And you got to put your time in.
Yes, for YouTube to be willing to invest in you.
I'm sure there's somebody out there. There's always an anomaly to every rule.
Right.
But I know of very few people that had overnight success like that on YouTube.
Yes.
And the people who have come from another form of social media or fame that just decided to get on YouTube and immediately had a following. They had a following somewhere else they brought with them. They didn't build one overnight.
Right. So we can transition into that. Do you feel that it's important to integrate other social media platforms?
I don't feel like it's necessary. I think the only importance for me, the reason I have other social media platforms is, as we spoke of before, my videos are like 2 months out.
Right.
So with my other social media platforms, I can post day-to-day things.
Real time, more or less.
Real time.
Yeah.
It does two things. It lets everybody know and interact with everybody what I'm doing today, but it also builds interest in future videos.
Okay. So it keeps people intrigued.
Yeah, they're like, oh, did you see that super stick, that barn tear down? That's going to be coming up. I'm going to watch this channel every day to see when that comes up.
Right.
So that also plays into my scheduling thing, our social media thing. The other place that other social media outlets can help you a little bit is it gives stuff can kind of get lost in YouTube comments a little bit, where through Facebook or Instagram they can direct message you.
Okay.
And get maybe it's not a public question, they can get a private question to you.
Right.
The other thing I would say is if you're going to dabble into the sponsorship world, they like to have multiple platforms. They like to see you across multiple platforms. So
that's them trying to get the best bang for their buck.
Get the best bang for their buck. I would probably encourage somebody, if their YouTube channel starts to get some traction, I would encourage them to start other social media platforms fairly early so they can grow similar.
With the same name if possible.
With the same name as
you know,
possible.
because eventually what you're doing here is you're making a brand, whether
Making
you
a brand.
realize it or not.
And getting a little bit off base here, but making a brand, I think your channel name is an important decision.
Yes.
My business name is Simon's Concrete and Excavating.
Doesn't really sound like
Doesn't
it rolls
sound
off
good.
the tongue.
And then, do you want to buy a shirt that says Simon's Concrete and Excavating? I wanted something that kind of sounded trendy, kind of sounded cool, something I could promote, market, something that you can remember.
Right.
So that's why I call my channel Dirt Perfect. Spoiler alert, it's supposed to be called Dozer Dad, but YouTube won't let me change it, so we're stuck with Dirt Perfect.
I like Dirt Perfect, I have to say.
It's worked out good for me. I can't complain.
And now you have hoodies and you have hats, and
Right,
you can't go changing it now.
And I think that's a very important decision, starting off as your channel name.
Right.
You got to think of your channel name as a brand.
Yes, because you are making a brand.
Right. So, is it a necessity to have other social media platforms? Absolutely not. I haven't got paid a dime from Facebook. I haven't got paid a dime from Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't made a dime off Twitter.
Right.
But
You have a Twitter?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I was just going with it. But I still haven't made a dime, whether I got it or not.
I wasn't an improper statement. I was
No.
just curious.
So with all that being said, most of my effort goes into YouTube because I do make some money off YouTube.
Right. Now, as far as growing your channel goes, and you're saying you need 1,000 subscribers to become monetized, do you feel like you should go out to these services that exist to potentially buy subscribers? Should you be forceful?
Worst thing you could ever do to your channel.
So you're
This
saying you
is
should
my
be...
opinion.
Okay.
First thing is, as far as growing your audience, you got to, I think it's pretty simple. You need two things. The first thing you got to do is you got to get somebody to click on your video,
Okay.
which is your thumbnail. That's the picture you see whenever you're scrolling through stuff.
Right.
So you got to get somebody to click on it. Once they click on that video, my personal opinion, it's 100% based on view duration.
Okay.
Which view duration is how long did that viewer stay engaged to that video. That in my way of thinking is YouTube's holy grail number. And why is that YouTube's holy grail number? Because the longer you watch, the more ads they can sell.
Because they are a business.
Because they are a business.
Interested in selling
So
ad
first
space.
thing you got to do is get them to click on a video.
Okay.
Second thing you got to do is keep them engaged and keep them watching.
Right.
I think anybody out there that can get between 50 and 60% view duration.
Meaning if your video for round numbers is 10 minutes long, a 50% view duration would be 5 minutes.
5 minutes of that.
Yes.
Most of my videos are 30 to 40 minutes long, and I think my view duration is like 21 minutes.
So you're doing pretty good then.
I do pretty good in the view duration part, and I think that is a huge key to my success, is that high view duration number.
Right. And I would agree on to that.
Now
and
you can post an hour and a half long video and get that 20-minute view duration, but it's the percentage number.
Right.
Not the minute number.
Now this is going to be throwing you for a loop because I just thought of this. Do you think there's a correlation between maybe having an hour and 20-minute long video and actually having, say, an hour of view duration? Do you think they'd be more inclined to push that over somebody?
I don't think it matters if it's an hour video and you got 50 minutes view duration, or if it's a 10-minute video and you got 9 minutes view duration.
You think it's strictly percentage based?
I think it's percentage based.
Because my question would be, well, looking at it objectively, well, they can put a lot more ads.
But I think they recognize that you kept that viewer engaged, so they're going to see those ads.
Right.
That's what my personal opinion.
So that it is worth noting that the most important thing that at least we feel like. I have no
science or data to back this up.
Right.
It's
strictly opinion.
It's strictly opinion.
But it seems like the most important thing is keeping the viewer engaged for as much of your video as possible. And you're not looking for a number per se, you're looking for a percentage.
How do you keep a viewer engaged? I think it's really, really simple. Do not force a video.
Yeah.
I see channels out there that just think they got to have a video posted. They got to have a video posted. And they just go out and film something to post a video.
Which is what we're referring to when we say force a video, which is just, I have to have something today, but I don't have anything interesting going on. But I'm just going to turn the camera on.
I'm just
anyway.
going to go grab some random tool and do something in the shop and make something up.
Right.
You gotta, that goes back to my scheduling and my videos. I never have to force a video because I probably film 60% of what I do. The rest of it, I'm not going to force or try to make something out of it that's not there.
Right.
So you gotta not force a video. You gotta start off with a good idea or storyline or something like that. Your video has to have some structure to it. You got to start your video off like what you're doing today.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have some sort of plan of how you're going to do that.
Right.
Maybe somewhere in the middle you have a little bit of a structure to it, and in the middle you throw in there's a question mark of, oh no, I don't know if my plan's going to work.
Right, and it's, I think, important to mention that you're not faking that.
No,
Yeah.
every job has a struggle. You just point out what it is.
Right, and you definitely don't turn the camera off when it starts to go bad.
No.
You know,
No,
don't.
and you don't make up stuff going bad. Like
Right.
you don't make up a disaster. You're honest about the weather's moving in, or this piece of equipment broke down, or we thought there was more dirt over there, now there's rock, or
Right.
the
So
truck's
there's
not doing what we, you know what I mean?
a level of authenticity.
Oh, absolutely. If you start forcing stuff, that's not.
And is it safe to say that people know?
Whenever you force something,
Yeah.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah. So
there's a bunch of channels out there you can watch them, and
me as a viewer, going onto a viewer side, watching other channels, I almost feel insulted when it's blatantly obvious when somebody's lying to you about something.
you and I just filmed a video and we did some acting. I wouldn't call it forced.
And that was strictly to add some humor.
And it was strictly for a humor standpoint.
Yeah.
But that's probably the closest we come to forcing a video, and we're still not sure how that's going to be received.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I don't think that's forcing a video. I think
But neither one of us are actors, and
No.
that's going to be obvious in what we did. But the purpose of it was entertainment.
Yes, and it was knowing in the back of our minds, knowing, in this case, your audience, that they're going to laugh at this.
Right.
They're going to.
Right.
Your audience likes to laugh at my
But
expense.
I don't go in the house and say, I don't have nothing to post today. I need to figure something out, and go out and shove a pocket knife in the side of my lawnmower tire and then make a video over changing the lawnmower tire. You
Right.
know, that's
for one, that's a waste of a perfectly good lawnmower tire.
and that may be a little bit of an extreme example, but that's kind of what I'm
talking about.
I got a video and a guy in mind where he did something similar. So
Really?
yeah,
You'll have to show me that later.
yeah. But anyways, don't force the video. Your video has to have some structure. Start off with what you're doing. Explain what you're doing. You know, somewhere in the middle, show some struggles about what you're doing. Make it a little bit of a question mark of whether it's going to get done, or it's even going to get done the way you thought it was going to get done. Then you got to have a conclusion. That didn't work at all. It was a disaster of a day. Or I can't believe this worked. Check out the end result. Or
Right.
this is where we got to. Stay tuned. We're going to try this again tomorrow because that plan didn't work. We're on to plan F. Or you know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to have a beginning, middle, and end.
Which, spoiler alert, that's actually how when I was in grade school, that's how they taught you how to write. You know, that's.
But how many videos do you see where they just plop the camera on? We're going to dig a hole over there.
Right.
You don't even know what they're digging a hole for.
Yeah.
You don't know what equipment they're using. You don't know why they chose that bucket. You don't know why they're using that piece of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
They put a tank down in there, and they don't even tell you thanks for watching. They just turn the camera off and video over. You know,
Right.
It's
Yeah, you have to have some kind of.
and all
substance.
these are pointers to get view duration.
Yes. So.
So the second part of your question was subscribers.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get to is
Okay.
your
So
subscriber count versus view
I gotta
count.
tiptoe around this a little bit because I'm pretty opinionated about this, and I'm pretty passionate about. First off, do you make any money off your subscriber count?
Me personally.
Anybody?
No, they do not. Your subscriber count means nothing.
That subscriber count may be the most worthless number presented on YouTube.
And there's actually a setting in YouTube where you can hide that.
Might as well.
Yeah.
It don't have nothing to do with anything.
No,
Nothing.
that's a popularity contest.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
No.
So you get paid off views.
Right.
There's
Before you get, I know where you're going with this, but before you do that, I want to just toss in how that works. Do you get paid $1 per view?
no.
Do you get paid you get paid per 1,000 views? That's how
Yeah.
YouTube works.
So YouTube has a couple different numbers. One's a CPM, one's an RPM. I'm not going to get into a bunch of details about what that is. But basically, it's a number that basically states how much you get paid per view.
And it can fluctuate from.
I've seen mine as low as 5 and as high as 30.
And that's per 1,000
Per
views
1,000
on a
views.
video.
Well, per 1,000 views on channel.
Yeah, that's.
Well,
yeah, you're right.
that we're getting a little detail in this, but each video has those numbers, then your channel as a whole has those numbers.
Yes, so you add up that month's views of the entire channel, which if you have a YouTube channel, it's in your studio, it'll show you. And you can take that number and divide it by 1,000 and then times it by whatever your CPM is, and you can get a pretty dang good estimate on how much that's going to
So, for example, let's just say hypothetically,
Yes.
I could get 10,000 views on my channel in a month.
Okay.
Logger Way could get 100,000 views on his channel in a month.
Right.
I can make more money.
Yes, if you have a CPM that is 10 times higher than his,
Which
you
basically
will make more.
means that advertisers find me more desirable or find my channel more desirable than person X. I'm just using Wade here because
It's probably the hair.
but I'm just using Wade here because he's the neighbor, not picking on Wade by any stretch of the imagination. So just because you got 100,000 views on YouTube and I got 100,000 views on YouTube does not mean we made the same amount of money.
No, and that's a very, very common misconception.
Yeah.
So you can go back now into your tangent of
Well, I
sub
don't want to
count
go
versus
into a
views.
tangent, but I don't understand why people get so caught up in this. So there's a channel on YouTube. I'm sitting here today. I'm at 49,000 subscribers.
Right.
There's another channel or two other channels on YouTube that I know of that are at 100,000 or right over 100,000, and I get more views per month than they do.
Right.
So they got twice as many subscribers, but I'm making more money.
Assuming that their CPM is around yours.
And there's ways to kind of somewhat look that up.
Right.
Yeah.
But we're going to assume for the podcast.
We're going to assume for the podcast.
I'm going to rope you back in a little bit. We're going to assume for the podcast.
I guess where I'm going with this is you need to grow your channel organically.
Yes.
Those subscribers are important in the fact that they are fans and they get notifications when you put a video out. But you need those subscribers to watch your videos.
Yes.
That helps you out a bunch. So if let's just say I got 50,000 subscribers and I don't know, 40 to 50% of them are watching my videos every time I post them. And this guy's got 100,000 subscribers and only 20% of them are watching his videos. Well, guess who YouTube's going to keep promoting?
Probably the first guy.
Yeah.
Person A in this
So
situation.
I think one of the biggest mistakes you can make on YouTube is, can I say the word? I won't say the word. Is the guys that go out and they beg.
Oh, you can say that word. Yeah, go ahead.
What, subscriber whores?
Yeah, you can say that.
That's what I call them, subscriber whores.
Mm-hmm.
Is the guys that go out and beg for shout outs, show up on other said channels and try to get their face in front of the camera and say,
Right.
Look at me, I got a channel over here and subscribe me. Because what ends up happening is you get a bunch of subscribers, your subscriber number goes up.
Right.
But they don't watch your stuff.
So who cares?
So who cares?
And it's interesting, too, because that was one of the things I actually had a conversation with early on with Let's Dig Chris, is that, the easiest way to get, I wouldn't say banned, but basically what you can do as a content creator is you can hide somebody on that channel. So
Yep.
if you leave a comment, if I leave a comment on your channel and I say, that was cool, come subscribe to me, and I leave a link to my channel.
Oh, that's suicide.
Yes, as a content creator, you can now go in, see that comment, click the little 3 dots on it, and hit hide user from channel.
And they'll never see you again.
Yes, so nobody will see anything that you have to say on this channel ever again. So the better way, and I'm not saying this as you should become a subscriber whore by doing it this way. I'm saying try to be a little bit more respectful. Maybe put some good, educated comments on that channel, and maybe somebody like me.
There's other ways to go about it. And
Yes.
you want the point of this is, and I'm not speaking illy of anybody,
Right.
but the point of this is, if you can, even if it's a much slower growth, if you can grow your channel organically and you can find people your own and suck them in and get them interested in what you're doing and get them interacting with your channel and get them watching every video you post,
Right.
as your channel grows, that's how I can, personally, I think that's how I can sit here today with half as many subscribers as some of these bigger channels and make more money than they do.
Right. And I think we can tie into how Captain Kleeman breaking the mirror
Yes.
was very good for Captain Kleeman
Very good for Captain Kleeman. Put him on the map.
because everybody was talking about it.
But Captain Kleeman wasn't here trying to get subscribers. Kleeman was here for a paycheck.
Right.
You know?
And just so happened
to break a mirror.
to break a mirror. And everybody still to this day gives him crap for that, but it was really one of the most beneficial things he ever did for his YouTube
The best thing
channel.
he ever did is broke a mirror. And YouTube meet and greets or YouTube.
Yeah.
I've done a video with Chris Let's Dig 18. I've done videos with Logger Way.
Right.
I've done videos with Captain Kleeman. Who else have I done videos with? I've done videos with a bunch of different people.
With me.
Jason Works a lot.
Yeah.
Elite Earthworks. SOT Metalworks.
Right.
I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody that, Full Tilt Grading.
Oh, yeah. Ed. We got to get him on here at some point.
I've done videos with all these people. Not one time For example, whenever I was filming with Chris Let's Dig 18, not one time was I trying to get a subscriber from him. We were hanging out at the auction having a good time.
Right.
You know?
So going back to organic, that was just you guys hanging out.
Yeah.
There happened to be two cameras rolling.
I had no intentions of growing my channel from that relationship whatsoever. Right. I was even a little bit reluctant to even be on his channel. I didn't mind if he was on my channel.
Right.
But I was even a little reluctant to be on his channel for that reason.
You want to have some respect for someone else.
Right.
You know?
And I'm the type of person is if I'm the biggest channel in the room, I'll film. If there's somebody bigger in the room, they got first dibs. Go for it. Cheers, buddy. That's
exactly.
fine. You know, Harmless Farmer. You know, we've hung out with the Harmless Farmer 3 or 4 times now. Neither one of us has pulled a camera out.
Right.
That's not why we're around each other.
Generally speaking, and it has nothing to do with the fact that your channel's so much larger than mine. I don't tend to film much when I'm out here anymore.
Well, we don't hang out to film together. We hang out to have fun and work on stuff. And
yeah, and if there's something that I can film, maybe I will. But I don't care enough to.
So I guess a YouTube meet and greet or YouTube.
I guess that follows into there's a time and a place.
There's a time and a place, and and people can tell when your heart's not in the right spot.
That's a good way to say it.
And
yeah.
I think that you just, shout outs are not a bad thing, but you need to be careful with them.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I get people that hit me up on the live feed. Shout me out, shout me out, shout. I'm sorry. If I don't know who you are or what you got on your channel,
right,
I'm not shouting you out. And even if I did and you get a bunch of people over there.
Are they going to watch?
Are they going to watch?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now I know exactly what I'm going to start typing on your live feed.
So that's kind of my take. The whole point of this conversation is you're better off to have slow, steady growth and have people that are interested in your channel and interacting with your channel,
right,
than going to X channel, begging for a shout out or appearing in 2 or 3 of his videos and trying to gain 500-600 subscribers overnight.
Right.
That maybe 5 of them watch you on a regular basis.
Right. Should we give another big YouTube trade secret out here?
Which one's that?
The thumbs down.
Who cares? I don't get this. People are like, you got 5 thumbs down. I'm like, dang, I wasn't 6, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, what's your problem? Like, I don't care. YouTube don't care if it's a thumbs up, thumbs down, negative comment, or positive comment. All they count is interaction, buddy.
Yes. So you can take the thumbs up and the thumbs down and add them together.
Yeah, add them together.
Because somebody took the time to click on your video and watch it.
And somebody took the time to hit on that.
Thumbs up or thumbs down.
I mean, there's some comments that are just rude and out of place.
Yes.
That have to be removed because they're just extremely too disrespectful to somebody in the video or somebody in the family.
Right.
But I usually don't take, I bet you out of 100,000 some comments in the last year, I've maybe taken 5 down.
Yeah, I very seldomly remove comments. I will, generally speaking, if somebody's calling me stupid and it's my video, I'll pin it to the top because I don't care.
I'm pretty confident in what I do, and I was there on the job. I lived it in real life,
right,
and I'm confident I made the right decision. Always like the guy that says, well, that won't last 3 days. Interesting. It's been there for 3 months.
Yeah. That was actually one of the last things I added to this list of is talking about that you should have did it this way, guy.
Here, spoiler alert, just because you didn't see it on YouTube, don't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
It's not every little thing gets filmed. You know, our first job is to get the job done, and then second job is to make sure we make it home alive at the end of the day. And then if we got time to film a video in between.
Yeah, fantastic. Maybe we'll do
that. But thumbs up, thumbs down, positive comment, negative comment. Interaction is interaction. Don't. Every once in a while you get a comment that kind of irks your chain a little bit. That stuff does not bother me one bit. Actually, I enjoy it. It's entertainment for me.
Well, you like to debate.
I had a guy the other day. He watched a video of me and Aaron putting a transmission in the truck, and he says, "I think I just got done watching the Moron Brothers." And I replied back, "I think you spelled genius wrong."
Yeah.
Just fun stuff like that. I just have fun with it. It don't bother me one bit.
And at the end of the day, some people do get upset about it.
And then I like the guys, well, that would never fly around here. I'm like, well, last I checked, I wasn't working there.
Yeah.
I'm working here.
Maybe that's why I work here. And truth be told, most things that fly around here are just birds and airplanes. So, I mean, does it really matter? Occasional kite.
Yeah. Do not get discouraged about thumbs down. Do not get discouraged about negative comments. Don't let that bother you one bit at all.
So I got to go through my list here. So I'm going to throw you the one question. I'm going going to drop my microphone first. And then I'm going to throw you the one question that you did not see me write down.
Oh, boy.
What did you get out of YouTube that you never saw coming?
Good friends.
I needed more time than that.
I mean, with Longer Wade, we talked about this in another podcast. Longer Wade told me the best thing that'll come out of YouTube is the people you meet. And that's the only reason we're as good as friends as what we are.
Is because I have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, well, both of us have a YouTube channel. Can I get a little credit over here, please?
Sorry.
No. The one thing I got out of YouTube that I didn't see coming was good friends. I've become really good friends with not only people who have other channels, but people that just got to know in the comments.
Yeah, we have a lot of really, really good commenters that are regulars.
Yeah, that are regulars. So I have become good friends with other channels, but I've also just become friends with people who interact with the channel. Hands down, I did not see that coming.
Right, about the actual relationships you will build
Yep.
off of people on the internet,
Yep.
believe it or not. And I would say I'm pretty much the same place. I was hoping to meet some friends. I never thought I'd meet the friends that I've met. I mean, I would go as far as to consider, most of the friends that I've made on YouTube, some of my best friends, actually. And I mean, hell, we're going to move across the country.
Yeah.
We're going to be living down the street with you.
Sorry.
Or from you. No, it's quite all right. We'll make do. But, so we covered most of the things on this list. Now let's get to one of the larger ones, too. Do you think there's a difference between somebody who does YouTube for a hobby and YouTube for a living? Because that is actually a thing.
Yeah, I don't. I never had. That's a good question. I don't know if I'm the most qualified person to answer that. I never had any intentions of doing YouTube for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what I know about YouTube now, it's very feasible to do YouTube for a living.
Right.
That's a realistic career choice. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. But I mean, like for my example is, if I didn't have a career to film, I wouldn't have a YouTube career to post.
It's very true.
So I don't. For what I do, I don't think it would ever work because I got to work to film to post. So I think the people who do YouTube for a living are more of the tech guys. A lot of tech guys do it for a living. I've got a friend of mine that has started a YouTube channel when he was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does for a living. Andrew Sly. He's a review guy for Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
Lives in Louisville, Kentucky. That's all he does is YouTube for a living. There's another guy by the name of Roy Kramer.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated with Roy Kramer. He actually lives in California now. He actually had a TV show for a while. Dare to Live was the name of the TV show. We're from the same town. That's all he did for years was a YouTube channel.
Right.
So you can make a living off YouTube. I have no desire to do that. That's never was my intentions. Again, it was a hobby. Usually those people who do that have a little more polished video, have a little more professional. Like Roy, he's a videographer. So was Andrew Sly. That's their kind of their trade before they got into YouTube.
So they've got a lot more invested into this than a hobbyist like yourself or myself.
I have no desire to ever take it to that level.
Right. Do you think that the way that you see YouTube evolving, that it may ever, I don't want to say grow to the point of replacing television, but potentially having some of the limitations that television has in the sense of like networks, hiring people to make videos?
I do not know how it's going to evolve, but it's going to go that direction.
And do you think that will take away some of the authenticity of YouTube?
I don't think so. I think you're still going to be able to be yourself on YouTube, but I think YouTube's going to start categorizing you.
Right.
And I think that some of these bigger channels, YouTube's going to start putting some money behind, and maybe, I don't know if assist in filming, but going to start structuring you into a season. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's kind of the way I see it going. That's
they did experiment with something like that before when YouTube Red came out.
Yep.
So that would be interesting to see how that pans out.
I think instead of seeing Gold Rush and Axemen and Ice Road Truckers and all this stuff, they're gonna start finding Let's Dig 18 or a said channel, and they're gonna start featuring them or premiering them.
Sounds like we might have visitors in a minute.
We're going to cut this for just a second. So yeah, I don't know which way. I don't know where YouTube's going to end up at, but I think it's going to be one of several streaming platforms that's going to be around for a while.
Right.
One huge advantage YouTube has over Netflix and Hulu and all those is they got all these content creators to choose from to make into reality TV.
And a lot of the overhead that they're that Netflix and such have falls onto us.
Yep.
I mean, they have the server capacity and everything, but
we're doing all the legwork for them.
yeah,
As far as producing the content and buying the equipment and all the above.
Yeah. So a few more points here, and then we're gonna wrap this up because we're getting there.
I was just getting warmed up.
I know you were. So camera politeness.
Camera etiquette.
There you go. Yeah. Should you walk around and shove your camera in other people's face?
It does make good video.
It does.
That's a that's a double-edged sword. A lot of channels out there, you just see the one content creator, and that's all you see.
Right.
If you guys watch my channel, I get pretty much everybody involved that I can.
Right. Now, do you think it's important to maybe ask permission of some of these people?
It just really depends on the situation. Like, if I got a state inspector on the job, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to ask permission before I film them.
Right.
If I got the homeowner's kids that's a huge Dirt Perfect fan, I'll just fire the camera up and
So you kind of use your better judgment.
You use your better judgment. There's people I film that I turn the camera on, they just tell me to turn it off. All right.
Right. I had that a lot, actually.
I don't purposely go around and shove the camera in everybody's face. I've kind of grown a little bit that a lot of people know I do it, and they just kind of come to expect it.
Right.
But I don't go into Lowe's and film the checkout lady. I don't go into my local auto parts store and film the guys behind the counter.
Right.
I don't stop random people in Walmart and film them. If the plumber comes on the job and he's doing something cool, I'm like, hey, care if I film that? And usually he don't.
Yeah.
If I know the guy, I'll kind of start filming, then I'll just kind of work into a conversation and get him involved a little bit. And some people are all about it. They start explaining stuff, and others are like, 2 or 3 word answers, and then you voice that over or do something different with it. But at least you got the option.
Right.
Either way, you gotta be respectful to people and their wishes and their privacy.
Right, because that's the problem that I ran into when I was trying to film in the beginning. Was a lot of people didn't want their stuff on camera.
Yeah, and as far as customers go, I get the comment a lot. Well, I can't believe do you charge the customer for all the time you're wasting filming? And maybe we'll get Farmer Chris on here one day, which is a customer I do a lot of work for, and he said time and time again, you guys would be probably surprised at how little time I screw with my camera.
Yeah, and I've only really worked around you in the shop here, and it's very, very little.
Yeah, it don't slow me down much.
No.
At all.
Yeah, most people waste more time smoking a cigarette than you do.
The only time that the camera slows me down is whenever I lose it, and I got to find it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's when it slows me down the most.
That's why you have a bunch of them.
And that's why I go back to my system. You got to get your system figured out. And keeping track of 2 cameras is a lot harder than keeping track of 1 camera. You know?
Very true.
So as far as I've had some customers that, they don't want their address, rightfully so, or their location or their name, but they never really say a whole lot about the filming the actual job. And then, of course, it's no secret anymore that I make some pretty good money on YouTube. And every once in a while you get the customer that says, well, do I get a percentage of that? And I'm like, no, but you can start your channel if you want to. It's free to start a channel.
Right.
Go for it. I put the legwork and the effort in to build the channel to what it is.
Yeah.
You don't want me filming your job, I'm going to post it. I'll move on to the next one. It don't bother me.
Yeah.
So...
Which also goes back to being so far ahead, too. You're not hard-pressed to have a video film.
Yeah, which goes back to the schedule of being and not forcing anything. If they don't want to film, that's fine. I'll their wishes, and I won't film it. Most people think it's cool.
Right.
And they're all about it.
See, I ran into a lot of the people who didn't want anything of their lives on the internet, but post everything that they do all day long on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, you know what? It's your property.
So, I know other channels that film, and they would never, they'd never fathom, bringing a camera out some of the times I do.
Right.
And there's times I probably should have kept my camera in my pocket. I'm not going to lie about it.
Yeah, well.
But it's something you kind of got to figure out with your personality, your channel. You really need to know the people you're filming. Right. I think every video I've ever filmed, I'm probably talking to somebody in it. Like I've roped somebody in there with me. Like I found somebody, and I'm like, we're gonna make something out of this.
And do you think that's an asset to your channel? Maybe
I do. I think it goes back to view duration. Mm-hmm. You guys see me in every video.
Right.
You've never seen Person X before, so you're going to stick around and see what Person X is all about, what Person X is going on.
It's kind of like having almost your regular co-hosts, I guess you could call them, being Captain Kleeman, man behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and
I've
even
got Captain Kleeman, which he was the first one. He worked for me. He did his own spin-off channel. We just have fun interacting. It's more of a, I think it almost makes it more of a group setting, and a member of the group's the person watching.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
I think we just lost the GoPro. Bummer. Oh well.
What do you need, a battery or?
I don't know. I think we can just finish it on audio.
Okay.
That's fine.
So it kind of turns into like a group setting, and the person watching at home feels like they're part of the group that's working there,
right?
Which again keeps them more involved and helps the view duration,
right?
If I stress the point that I think view duration is important,
you have, but for good reason though. So moving on now, we have basically 2 points left here, and they kind of go hand in hand. It's going to be sponsorship opportunities, which are when companies reach out to either pay you or provide an incentive for you to promote their product, and using your platform wisely. And I can think of a couple scenarios or examples, I guess you would say, for things that you've done with that. So which would you prefer?
Sponsorship I think you've been answering both in the same conversation, because I've got quite a few opinions about this. One thing I want to stress right off the bat, and big corporations don't like hearing this when you tell them, but I'm not wavering for who I am. YouTube's a hobby for me. I'm going to do YouTube my way. I don't care how much you pay me. I ain't changing it.
And you've said this to a couple large corporations.
You're going to pay me X to do what? Nope, I ain't playing by your rules. You're going to pay me this much? No, I don't think you understand. It's a hobby. You're not telling me what I'm doing. This is my channel, and I'm going to do it the way I want to do it, or we're not going to do anything.
Right.
And they look at you like you're a little bit crazy, like, I can't believe you're turning me down. Most people jump this opportunity. I'm not here for the opportunities. I'm here for the hobby.
Right.
Not really here for the money. Now, I am a businessman. If there's enough commas involved, I may agree to something. I'm not completely stupid, but...
So Company X, who's potentially been turned down already by Dirt Perfect, maybe you didn't have enough commas.
So whenever it comes to sponsorship opportunities, I've been very fortunate, Jason. I've had some amazing opportunities. Volvo, Hyundai, AMI, Ariat, Milwaukee, Speedbinders. Who am I forgetting? Truck or Track. We can't forget Todd. That's...
Todd's very hard to forget.
Yeah, Todd's very hard to forget. And that's probably one of my biggest, a lot of people wouldn't realize that that's probably one of my biggest sponsorship deals that I ever landed was actually Truck or Track.
Right. And I think one of my favorites personally was Speedbinders.
Yeah, Speedbinders. Steve was my first. Steve was my first. I've had some awesome, been very, very fortunate and had some awesome opportunities. But let's just say for easy conversation's sake, I've had 10 sponsorships.
Right.
I've probably turned 100 down. I got some very simple rules I'm going to follow by. One, I'm going to have to believe in your product, and it's going to be something I use in my business.
Right.
I'll give you an example. I had a guy that wanted to give me like a $4,000 heater for my shop. I don't need a heater in my shop.
Right. It's already heated.
And I'm not going to force a video filming one with a heater in my shop.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
And then you're also talking about doing a lot to make that go in here. Yeah, he's giving you a $4,000 heater, but he
keeps trying to remind me of the value of this heater. I'm like, I don't need a heater.
Right. And I mean, that's also assuming that the heater is a good heater. And I'm not picking on this. I don't know anything about this. But
I did do some research on it. I think it was a good heater.
Right. But there is that possibility that it's somebody who just started a company, and this heater could burn your shop down.
Right. And two things. One, I didn't need the heater.
Right.
And two, I was going to have to force a video. And we've already talked about forcing a video.
Yeah, you don't do that.
I'm not going to do it. Opportunities like that I turned down. There's a bunch of other stuff, electronic wallets and dating services. And
that was my favorite, by the way, the dating service.
Yeah, Jenna wasn't too. I always told her I kept the guy's number just in case.
Gee, I wonder why she didn't like it.
Always got options, babe. I got options. So,
that's right.
But the stuff I have taken on, Volvo and Hyundai, I was very impressed with the Hyundai excavators at ICUE show. I still am with them today.
Right.
I still do stuff with them today. I bought a Volvo excavator. Had the Volvo spot. They gave me some opportunities to go out in Vegas. That was one. I don't mind saying that they wanted to tie my hands a little bit about going to Vegas. I said no. I said I'm willing to do something for you, but
Right.
we're going to change these ground rules a little bit. And if you're okay with it, fine. If you're not okay with it, fine. I'm good either way.
You were already going to Vegas on
I
your
was
own
going to
dime.
Vegas either way, with or without them.
Right.
You know, the Ariat work pants and boots, I've got you wearing Ariat stuff now. It's awesome. Love
Yeah.
it. I wear it every day. You guys see it in videos. It's not because they gave it to me. It's because I like the pants and I like the boots.
Right. And I agree that the pants are amazing.
Speed binders, here we are a year later. That's probably one of my best gadgets I've ever found in my life.
Right.
Love them things.
And I'm still trying to figure out how I can get my employer to buy a couple pallets of them. I'm working on that.
It, you know, everything that I've latched onto went hand in hand. But once I do latch onto something, I feel like I want to have the liberty to give my honest opinion about it.
Which falls under using it wisely.
Right. So the AMI power rake, for example, they sent me this AMI, like the ruckus rake's the technical term for it, and I did a very in-depth video over it, and the most of it was positive.
Right.
But I had some opinions about it. I had some things on that thing that I think needs to be changed or addressed. This is their first go at building one of these things.
Right.
And I expressed them in the videos, and they were appreciative of it.
And I think it's what I'm trying to get at here is the way that you presented these things.
Yes, that is. I'm not gonna pick on anybody, and I know everybody out there's got a great has an opinion about this YouTuber, and I'm sure everybody knows him. But Andrew Carmela or Camerata.
Yeah.
We both got a speed binders sponsorship.
Right.
And Andrew's got a cult following. He's got an amazing YouTube channel he's built.
Yes.
And he got a speed binder. He used it in one video improperly, pulling two panels together.
Right.
I would say he wouldn't use it improperly.
Not as it was intended.
Not as it was intended. It wasn't to bind down a piece of equipment on a trailer. He used it for something else. I would have used a speed binder for the same thing. But
Right.
So that's how he presented it.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am over here at the time. I got 25,000 subscribers. I'll make 2 or 3 videos on it, actually using it, tying that equipment down, which is what I'm doing that day anyways. I'm not tying a piece of equipment down for the heck of it. I'm actually moving equipment that day.
Right.
And Steve, which owns Speed Binders, will tell you, my video was more successful in sales than his was.
Right.
So it goes back to your subscribers and your views and all that stuff.
And how you carry yourself through it.
And how you carry yourself. That stuff may not matter. You can compete with big channels being a small guy.
Right.
It's being honest about what you have in front of you. If you're a company and you come up to me and you hand me a piece of paper and tell me this is what I had to say about your piece of equipment, I don't care if it's $300,000 excavator. I'm gonna say take your paper and go home. I ain't doing it.
Which, spoiler alert, we won't name any companies, but there are companies out there.
Yeah,
who
I've
do
told
that.
them to take their stuff and go home.
Right.
I'm not doing it.
Right. And that also, Hyundai, I think, is nice to touch on. You made quite a few suggestions on the Hyundai excavator.
Yep.
And they actually took some of them.
Hyundai from the corporate people I've worked with at Hyundai are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just showed up out of nowhere at the ICUE show and
Right.
took them off guard. I mean, at the time I met them, I had 12,000 subscribers. Okay.
Right.
I showed up. They had this announcer dude out there in front, you know, talking about excavator soccer and talking this big old game, and I was just talking about shoving a camera in people's face. I'm like, I can have fun with this. You know what I mean? So I walk up and I said, excavator soccer, what's that? And he's starting to explain it, and I said, no, well, what's an excavator?
Yeah.
You know, I'm just playing stupid.
Yeah.
And so anyways, that started the relationship, and we got to talking and carrying on, and then one thing led to the next, and then we're talking about social media promotion, and they had never even considered having what I guess you'd technically consider as social media influencers.
Right.
Never even considered having a social media influencer. And they're like, we'd like to do something with you, but what? I'm like, this is my suggestion. I said, you can send me to Vegas. You can make me a video of some new paint. I said, people want to see the stuff in action.
Right.
They want to see it on a job in a real life scenario working, you know, and then they want to know an opinion about it. They actually want to see it and then have an opinion about it. And that was my suggestion to them. They're like, all right, let's see if we can figure this out. So I was supposed to have them machined for 30 days, make 5 videos.
Right.
Do or say whatever you want. We don't care. Well, they loved it so much, I got to keep it for another 45 days and make more videos out of it.
Right.
And they were just so easy to work with. I'm like, I don't know about this. They're like, well, let's look into it. You know, the def tank location, the tie downs, and just different random stuff. Just an absolute pleasure to work with. I can't say enough good things about the people from Hyundai. I told them, I said, I want to do this excavator challenge game. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
We had a couple of different things down, and which is the craziest idea ever. And they're like, all right, what we need to do? You know, they fly people up here from Georgia. They bring great big signs. They bring a judge. You know, it's like
that was a lot of fun.
They're ate up with it.
Right.
Versus some other companies where it's I'm going to pay you X and you're going to do this, and I'm like, nah, pass.
Right. And so as a company, say you're Hyundai and you're interested in finding a content creator to potentially spoil and get your name out there. Do you think it's important that this content creator be authentic and not just speak so perfectly highly about every product?
I think I hate to name channels, and I don't want to pick on anybody, but Stanley the Dirt Monkey.
Yeah.
He's kind of went down a product review path versus.
Yes.
And I just don't agree with that. I don't think that's right.
Right.
It goes back to what I said. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and if your product fits into my day-to-day activities and you're going to give it to me and you're not going to care what I'm going to say about it, I'm not going to go trash somebody's product.
But constructive criticism is different.
Constructive criticism, in my honest opinion, there's a way to present that to where, hey, this is a good idea, but this may need some work. Because if you see something on my channel and you go buy it because you've seen it on my channel, I want you to know what the hell you're getting.
Right. We've talked about this at great length before, too, about, well, what if you're reviewing, just say, a mini excavator, and we always use Joe Schmo. I feel bad for Joe Schmo. But Joe Schmo decides he's going to, he dump his entire life savings into starting an excavation company, and that's what he truly wants to do. And he goes on to YouTube and says, what's the best mini excavator? And he pulls up this video, and it's got this bright, shiny red excavator. I don't know of any companies that are red. So red excavator. And it's just, it's dirt perfect on there saying how phenomenally wonderful this excavator is. And it turns out that Joe Schmo goes out and spends $150,000 on this excavator.
The biggest piece of crap he ever had in his life.
Yes. And I think it's important with, how you carry your channel that you're not going to sit there and lie to people.
Nope.
And it doesn't matter what these companies are willing to do.
And we had this discussion earlier about some other channels that have X equipment, and they've had issues with them and never posted them.
Right.
And I don't think that's fair.
No, because at the end of the day, I mean, my wife even knows every piece of equipment breaks.
Yes, it's part of it.
And I'll tell you right now, if there was a piece of machinery out there that never broke, do you think for a second that not every company in the world would have it?
Well, if there was a piece of machinery out there that don't broke, there'd also be a company out there without a parts department.
Yeah,
I've
right.
never seen one of those either.
That's very true. Hell, that company be out of business.
I mean, it's just
yeah.
Whatever color paint, whatever brand you get, whatever you like, it don't matter.
Right.
They're all going to have issues. But one thing I always try to do, though, is if I got an opinion on something, especially if it's a negative opinion, I try to back it up with a fact.
Right. So you're reading my notes, aren't you?
No, I'm not. But for example, I call it my Kubota rant video.
Yep.
I had the intake on the Kubota skid steer busted. My redneck engineering degree tells me that this overpaid engineer did a bad job.
Right.
And I just didn't say the idiots at Kubota.
Right.
I showed the people why I think they did a bad job. I showed
With
them the
a
bracket.
Very detailed explanation as to
Yes.
why you think that
So
way.
if I'm going to have a negative opinion or a positive opinion, I try to always back that up with an explanation or a fact to go along with it, so I can give you some credibility to my opinion, whether it be good or bad.
Right. Well, I guess on that note, I'm out of notes.
I think we're out of time, too.
I'm out of notes. We're out of video, and I think we're out of time.
So I hope that helps people. I mean, one thing I want to end on is what works for me and may not work for you. So take everything you hear with a grain of salt, and I hope it helps somebody.
Right. Same here. I mean, everything that works for me should work for everybody, but hey.
A few points from perfect right there.
That right there was a few points from perfect, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right. Till next time.